Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and with no new Doctor Who episodes to review, I thought that I would go back in time myself. And what we've decided to do is go to the third Doctor, John Pertwee, for a number of good reasons. One reason is that all the episodes are intact. In the first and second Doctors, a lot of the tapes and films have been lost of the show, and they are all preserved in the third Doctor and on. Also, those are the first episodes that were in color, and also we have much more rounded characterization of the Doctor now that has pulled on into the present day. The previous two Doctors were more enigmatic, and we introduce a Doctor here who is a scientist, an adventurer, and someone who's stuck on Earth. So they have to give him something a little more to do than just travel around in his time machine. So we introduced some new characters here. Actually, Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart was introduced during the David Troughton era as the head of UNIT, which at that time was called the United Nations Investigative Task Force. They changed it from United Nations to United Network or some such like that to keep from getting into political trouble later on down the line. But the interesting thing about Nicholas Courtney, who played Lethbridge Stewart, he had played against every Doctor all the way up through Sylvester McCoy, and as Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart from the second Doctor on. So under the first Doctor, he was playing another part, but he is the longest actor to be in Doctor Who in history, and no problem of anybody ever topping that. Anyway, in order to be able to function, the Doctor has gone to UNIT after being picked up by an ambulance. He was found collapsed outside his TARDIS, still regenerating. And UNIT picks up the TARDIS, and an ambulance picks up the Doctor, who takes him to a hospital. The doctors are very confused over his physiology, and that brings the attention of UNIT as well. Although when the Doctor comes to consciousness, he recognizes Lethbridge Stewart. Stewart himself doesn't recognize the Doctor and does not realize that he is the same person. A lot of convincing has to go along here before we actually get into the minds of the people there that he is the same person. So Lethbridge Stewart was trying to get a new science advisor, and he was looking at Liz Shaw, who was working at Cambridge in research, and wanted to bring her into UNIT. She was kind of reluctant to do so, and as the Doctor comes in, he is now someone who knows a little bit more about science than she does, and wants her along as his assistant in return for services rendered to UNIT. Also an ability to repair his TARDIS. The Time Lords have taken away his knowledge of time travel and have disabled the TARDIS, so it can't go anywhere. So one of the running jokes through the entire Pertwee early era will be his failed attempts to repair his TARDIS and go anywhere in it. So anyway, we have the lab set up, and we find that this story about meteors that aren't meteors introduce the Nestine, who are conquerors of planets from billions of years ago, and we have the Autons, who are created by the Nestines, who are basically animated mannequins and dolls. And so nothing scarier than mannequins who walking the streets, and so they have a certain amount of that. Now, this episode was the first and only episode of Doctor Who that was filmed completely in 16 millimeter. And the reason that they did that was because of a labor dispute with the BBC video workers union there. And so they did this all on film. However, the style at that time was that anything that was done in the studio was done on video. Anything that was done on location was done on film. And that had to do less with technology and more with the fact that there were rules about what could be filmed with what where. But the fact of the matter is that portable video was not well available at that time anyway. So anyway, the conversion to tape looks very good because the film has been well preserved. So it's not bad to watch. You don't feel that it's as dated as you might think until you look at some of the equipment that they have in the unit lab, in which, of course, much of it is 60s technology, which is stuff that is antique to us now, of course. And in fact, even the device that the doctor builds later on has a bunch of tubes in it. So what we have here is the only thing that dates it really is the nature of some of the sets. The brigadier's office is obviously a bunch of flats with a desk in it, and not as built out and decorated as you would see modern sets. But other than that, the acting is good. The action is good with a lot of outdoor scenes. There's a lot of movement, and I noticed that, of course, the style of the time was to shoot in much more close-up on people's faces and things like that, because television screens weren't as big as they are now. So you don't have as many long shots as you used to, and there's more very extreme close-up reaction shots and things like that. So that's kind of interesting to see. The story itself holds up. I mean, you can tell that there are people in plastic masks, but it doesn't matter much because the fear factor is there, and the suspense factor is there, and they make it believable enough. And if you have a good enough story, you don't really have to have completely believable special effects, or else theater would never have worked. The fact that you could paint a backdrop and put actors in front of it and still be lost in the story says everything about how early television worked, because they did not have the money that a movie company would have. And even then, the movie companies didn't have the kind of resources that they do now, or that television does now for that matter. So it's very interesting to see how they make it work, and it does work. So I recommend to you this by a 1970 first outing by John Pertwee as the Third Doctor. I think that you'll find him very easy to get used to. He makes himself at home almost immediately, and you believe him almost immediately. So there's something about that persona of the Doctor that he certainly has, and that passed along to many of the subsequent Doctors. So I'd like to know what you think about this. We may do more of these if this is interesting to you. And we have some other reruns that we're still working on with Deep Space Nine and Babylon 5. And I have another project that we should be able to get rolling by the beginning of next month. I'll let you know more about as we get closer to that. But for now, thank you for joining us. And until next time, don't go far.